As developers, we need to be able to provide the right platform, the right environment, so people will be able to improve their quality of life.
Urban development is going to be especially critical for the Philippines. The way we look at urban development as engines of growth, centers of innovation, production, employment, and therefore as venues of poverty reduction.
So long before the idea of sustainability as a term as well as a development principle came into being, the spirit behind it was long in the company.
It's a way by which the private sector, a company engaged primarily in business, in generating profit for private shareholders, can somehow be consistent with the general public interest. This mindset helps us come up with a situation wherein the majority, if not everybody, benefits.
Well, this beautiful scenery you see around us, it didn't happen by accident. All of this has been planned, guided, and designed with all the right people to make these things happen.
These are things we've been doing for decades, without anybody, frankly, because it is just the right thing to do. By being specific on our sustainability principles, we want to make sure that the whole organization lines up to these focus areas. There are basically 4 focus areas that will make our products, particularly our large-scale integrated mixed-use development, sustainable. These elements are critical to ensure that the development is actually sustainable. The fact that it is site resilient, therefore could hopefully withstand geohazard risks as well as climate change. The fact that it is pedestrian friendly and has good transit connectivity, that means that we're making it easy for people to get in and out of our developments as well as move within our own developments. Given global warming, climate change, I think it is imperative on us to make sure that our developments are eco-efficient. The last element, which is the local economic contribution, again, we don't operate in isolation. We cannot be successful in our own developments if the surrounding community is not.
That is really part of our practice, the sharing of learnings and best practices.
It starts off with an assessment of the site itself, an assessment of the landform. Trying to fit your plan so that you can preserve or enhance the best attributes of those characteristics is core to what we do in master planning.
It seems easy, but actually it goes through a lot of what we call technical due diligence. One of the questions that we ask is, what would be an obstacle to a project sustainability? Maybe another question is, how would it look like for the future generation? How many trees do we have at the moment? How much space, open space do we have? Is it something that will remain relevant through time?
We should assume that landform is already resilient to all of the upheavals of climate and nature. So the less disturbance that you do on a piece of property, then that almost assures you that your plan will be resilient.
Makati was planned several decades ago, oriented clearly towards the automobile. Since then, it has evolved to adapt to newer conditions where we try to introduce more pedestrian and transit activities.
Many of these ideas were controversial at that time. People simply didn't believe that Filipinos would walk. And now people have really made it a part of their lives and in fact has become an enjoyable activity.
High density mixed use, that's very sustainable. You create a mix of uses and at that good enough density that it encourages walking and less dependence on cars. In Makati, we have this grade separated pedestrian circulation which minimizes conflict between cars and people. In Bonifacio, we have these arcaded circulation systems within the buildings.
Some of our sidewalks are quite old, and recently in Ayala Avenue, we completely rebuilt about 4 kilometers of sidewalks there. It's always a transformation, and it will never end, and we are still thinking of new projects for the future.
The reduction of energy is part of our DNA for as long as I can remember.
It shows responsibility on the part of developer, not only take into account profit, but also takes into account the people and the planet.
Challenge is, of course, implementing something new. So what is key is that when there's a new technology, you pilot it in one property so that you see if it really makes sense. And the moment you realize that the savings will really be produced by that initiative, then that's the time you really roll it out. It's also important that you measure yourself and how really efficient you are so that in the end, you really reduce your consumption and make sure that you're efficient.
Use the available resources available, starting from the workers. No? We prioritize hiring from the local communities that where we go to, providing the opportunity to expand their participation and create livelihood for the entire community.
If you look at the traditional products that Ali is involved in, being in this traditionally known for high-end market, it has gone down to the bottom of the pyramid. It has expanded into not just residential products, but into healthcare, infrastructure, transport. So, in a way, being more consistent with inclusiveness, I think that is something that is noteworthy.
Ayala Land's development model has always been to build large-scale integrated mixed-use communities, move the center of commerce from traditional areas to non-traditional areas. We have a long history of being a responsible corporate citizen. We just continue to sustain that by investing in our people, investing in coming up with the systems and procedures that will embed sustainability practices in everything that we do.
What we do is we're there for the long haul. We nurture the property to make sure that future generations will benefit from it.
We are actually stewards. We're just stewards of the business. Our role is just to enhance and preserve the business for future generations.
Establishing those 4 focus areas is really a way by which we can monitor and instill discipline. There's a long-term perspective which forces us to go beyond what is easy and therefore look at the consequences of what we're doing beyond 3, 4, 5 a generation. Look at it a generation hence. So that discipline, I think, is an advantage.
I think if you're talking also about behavior, integrity, or ethics, we always try to tell our people that do what is right and everything will follow.
So whatever we do, we want to make sure that we have a sustainable company. That means that our products and services are relevant, and relevant not just today, but relevant over time. The world continues to evolve. I think what is important that as an organization that we're able to adapt and react quickly to the changes that we see in the world. Because we're doing this, we believe that we will be able to enhance and improve the quality of life for a lot more Filipinos.